Travel to Washington, D.C., to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. On the third floor, in an exhibit honoring the Black military experience, you will find a Bible and sword belonging to one of the great heroes of modern American history. Emily JT Perez was born in Germany, daughter of a U.S. Army soldier stationed abroad. Described as bubbly, dedicated, talented, opinionated, confident, her calling was to serve others. In high school, she started a church ministry in support of AIDS patients. A mentor from her volunteer service with the Red Cross recalled, "I clearly remember thinking she would be the first female president of this country." Friends nicknamed her Kobe because she could make all the shots. In college, she earned another nickname, Taz, a 5'3" devil of pure energy. A star athlete, widely recruited for track and field, Emily fell in love with the United States Military Academy at West Point, its history, its camaraderie, its commitment to excellence. She made it her mission to attend. And since Emily Perez could make all the shots, with nominations from 2 members of Congress, she arrived on campus in the summer of 2001.
Good evening and welcome to our first episode of The Way Wednesday. We stopped the video there because this is how all of our guests today learned and met and got to love Emily JT Perez. We developed The Way Wednesday as a way to share Emily's values with the world. Every fourth Wednesday, we will invite guests on to speak on topics that are important to our community and that resonate with her values. Because this is our first show and next month is Emily's birthday, we thought it'd be fitting to invite our West Point sisters who knew her to celebrate Emily's life and legacy. Emily was a remarkable person who touched the lives of so many around her. Though we're all physically in different places, today we are united by our love for her and the memories we'll share. To everyone tuning in, whether live or later, thank you for joining us for this Way Wednesday and for remembering Second Lieutenant Emily JT Perez. To start us off, we're going to introduce the Emily JT Perez Foundation leadership. I'll start. I'm Latasha Thomas Patterson. I am the Director of Strategic Communications. I'm a graduate of West Point, class of 2005. Emily was my classmate, and we were in the gospel choir together. Next, we're going to do introductions, and I'm going to kick it off with...
Hello, good evening, everyone. Tracy Lloyd. I have this distinct honor and pleasure as serving as the executive director for the Emily JT Perez Foundation. I am also a West Point grad, class of 2003, Protectors of the Free. I knew Emily through the gospel choir as well as we were teammates on the Army track and field team.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Betty Myrtle. I am the Director of Operations for the Emily JT Perez Foundation. I'm West Point class of 2002. I first met Emily in 2001 when I was a senior and she was a freshman. I got to learn and get to know Emily through so many different variants, specifically through the gospel choir, and we were also in the same regiment.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Joseph, West Point class of 2003. I have the honor of serving as the Director of Development and Partnerships. And I knew Emily. I got to actually meet her when she first visited West Point when she was in high school. We're from the same part of Prince George's County in Maryland. And I also got to spend time with her carpooling on rides back down home from West Point, those 5-hour car rides. So Tosh, I'll pass it back over to you to introduce our amazing guest for the evening.
Before we get to the guests, we're just going to wave all of our directors for the Emily JT Perez Foundation. Love you guys. Oh. And as she said, we're going.
Hi, I'm Yolanda Williams. I'm currently in Washington State, the other Washington, and Emily and I were roommates. So we were Gophers and company mates together, and so yeah, we lived together until she ascended to the battalion and reg staff. But yeah, it's how long we've known, or how long I knew her.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Elise Hackstall, and I am West Point class of 2004 for Country and Core. I had the pleasure of knowing and spending time with Emily, 3 of her 4 years at the Academy in the Cadet Gospel Choir, as well as on the Army track team. We ran relays together, and Emily was like a sister to me. I was able to meet her initially before she made the decision to actually attend the Academy as a sponsor for her. So I'm excited about this opportunity to share more about my journey with Emily.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tiffany Martin Dang. I'm West Point class of 2005. I was Emily's classmate and also a member of the track team with her. And just like Elise, I'm excited for this forum to really talk about her and her legacy and what she meant to all of us.
Thank you guys so much for the introduction. I know this is kind of heavy. I thought this was going to be super light, but as soon as I started talking, I started getting emotional. Um, mm, Mr. Perez, Emily's father, he has said that no one has ever left Emily's presence the same. She had a way of just changing the atmosphere. Can you go around the horn and kind of share a story about how she impacted your life?
So, if it's okay, I'd like to start. Getting to kind of live with Emily was really a wonderful experience. Um, she had a way of encouraging everyone through her example. Inspiring you to be better. Getting to see what greatness took up close was very inspiring. Um, the other thing that she impacted me was I knew that she really could see people and she really understood them. I never met someone that was able to ascertain just what people were really all about and understand them so thoroughly. She wasn't judging you or had placed any expectations of you. She would look at you and know you, and if you were lucky enough, she would love you, and you get her close and real friendship.
I'll go next. Yolanda, I love how you shared how if you got close enough to Emily, she would know and love you because that's so true. I have a twin sister, and I used to tell Emily she reminded me of my twin, her mannerism, her behaviors. And Emily and I had a great journey together at West Point. Being able to learn about her and be able to experience her enthusiasm for life, her passion for what she did. I got to see that at school, and also we got to take a fun little trip. I remember one year, myself, several teammates, Tiffany went on the track team. We went to visit my cousins who were working for I can't remember the it was the basketball team. I can't remember. The Wizards, the Washington Wizards. Yep, Washington Wizards. But we went there. We stayed at their house. Emily was just such a ball of fun. We ran all over the house. We had good food. We played games. And it just was an opportunity for us to really connect and bond. Emily really connected each of us with her sincerity towards each of our personalities and our friendships. Everybody had something special with Emily on our team. And it was fantastic to be able to see her thrive after I left West Point and see her rise through the ranks and just do amazing things and really make her family proud and also those who were close enough to know and love her proud.
And at least I had forgotten about that trip. It was so fun. I remember us rummaging through, me and Emily, and at least trying to find shoes, Jordans, you know what I mean, to wear, to take. I remember that so vividly. Um, Latasha talked about this at the top. It's hard for me to talk about this. I actively try not to think about it a lot. I try not to think about her a lot, which sounds counterintuitive when you love somebody and you want to make sure that their legacy remains and be a part of the things. But it's a very painful journey. My hands are sweating right now. My toes are sweating right now. I won't show you my toes, but it's difficult to recount some of these memories and unlock that kind of part when you kind of stuffed it away for so long. So these kind of things are as cathartic for me as I hope they are for others who may have lost somebody that they really love. But I think the memories that stand out to me the most and how she changed my life was, and again, Yolanda at least talked about this so eloquently, is that when you got to know her, like she was just a part of you, right? And we spent so much time together, rooming at track meets, sitting at the same table for all of our meals, just being together in space, right? And having the opportunity to share the books we were reading, our innermost thoughts and fears, and just talk about what our life was going to be like when we left, right? And when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, all the dreams, right? So I remember just talking about our dreams, right? What we were going to do, who we were going to marry, kids we were going to have, right? um, and it just brought so much comfort, right? When you get to know her exterior is much different than her interior, and once you got to that core, there was something super special about her, and she was just great at making you feel loved and seen, and really important. So those are the things that I remember most about her.
That's awesome. I want to first acknowledge and thank you guys for being here. It's not always easy to talk about people that you love who are no longer here. But the way that I've reframed it, and I hope this is helpful, is that I have the honor of carrying my friend's memory. And so I take that as a responsibility and an honor and a way for me to remember her every time I have to tell a story, even though it's hard. Tiffany, you said something that I want to kind of tease out. You said her exterior was different than her interior. The video talks about Emily having the nickname Taz. Can we go around? I'll start with you this time, Tiffany, and talk about what was your first impression of Emily or your first memory of Emily?
I think I vaguely remember us being, I don't know, somewhere and hearing a very loud person, very, very loud person. And I was like, and I'm very, like, I'm an introvert. I'm like very quiet, And so my first thought was like, that's too much. That's too loud, right? Uh, and then we just got, we started to know each other, and again, get to, peeling out like those layers off. And she is actually an introvert too, right? There's kind of this, she was extroverted in some instances, in some ways, but very introverted in others. If you were to find her on a Friday night, you would probably find her, and Yolanda may be able to vouch on this, curled up in her bed, probably reading a book, right? So she had all these different facets to her and, her personality. But I think hearing a very loud human being singing a song was my very first memory of her. And I can hear her voice right now in my head, that with her singing and just her zest for just life.
What a gift that is. Yolanda, can you speak to your first memory?
So I actually met Emily when we were both in high school during the IAW, the invitational academic workshop where they have you come as high schoolers. I was there a day early. She was there like a day early, and I was really like impressed by her. She was, like we met each other, and just like I said, like she let me know like all the things that she was about, what she was up to, And I was like, oh my gosh, I found someone that's as obsessed with going to this place as me. Like, I was like, this is, again, just, 17-year-old Yolanda was like, this is so cool. And I remember being like, my plebe year, like, oh my gosh, why did I dream about coming here so long? Like, what? Leave that to a 17-year-old. But, she, like, again, sometimes I wonder, thinking now, I'm like, man, she laid it all out there. And rather than being like intimidated or taken aback, I was just like, wow, I am so impressed. This person is a million times better than I am at doing all these wonderful things. And so, yeah, that was just I was kind of like, you're my hero. And I could tell I'd probably overdone her extrovert part. And she was like, all right, I'm ready to stop talking to you, weird girl. And that was it. And then so when we found out we were going to be roommates again, she was like, oh man, it's you, my stalker, you're back.
Oh, Elise, it's your turn.
All right. So I love those stories. I think too, Yolanda. So we met Emily the same time. I was a freshman, and I remember when I first saw her, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's little like me." I'm 5'2", she's 5'3", and she was so sweet, so energetic. I felt privileged to be able to have the opportunity to show her the track side of being a cadet. And I got to give her the energy of my excitement because I did not, when I decided to go to West Point because of a teacher, I had no idea what the school was. And to my surprise, it was a lot, but it was it was fun. An experience I wouldn't trade for the world. But it was great to meet someone who had done their research and their homework and was passionate about what they wanted to do for college. And she knew that was what she wanted to be. And it was also wonderful to have my first interaction with Mr. and Miss Perez. That weekend, I was able to meet them. And I remember her mom looking at me saying, you've influenced my baby. She's coming here. She wants to come here. Something to that effect. But it was wonderful. It turned out to be a wonderful journey with her. Her family was there every step of the way and came to everything that they could come to. Like if we had a gospel choir concert and it was close enough, they would be there. So my fondest and first memories of Emily was before she was even a cadet, and they continued on as she continued through her West Point career.
Awesome. I thank you guys for sharing those stories. They just brought a smile to my face. Remembering good times at West Point, not talking about any of the bad times. So the next question is really talking about like Emily's passions. Um, her life was really defined by her passions, her passion for community service, for running track, singing in the gospel choir, academic excellence, and so much more. She gave so much to the people and communities around her. What are some of your favorite memories that are tied to her passions? Elise, we'll start back with you.
All right. So the one thing that I admired so much about Emily was her compassion and her godly ways. She was very, I don't want to say the word spiritual. I believe she read and understood the Bible and applied it to her life. And she behaved in such a manner that was admirable, not only to her, but to her family, those around her, and to God. And we saw that every time we went on a gospel choir trip, anytime we sang, any opportunity, Emily was clapping, playing the tambourine, just giving it her all. And she really influenced me to make sure that I stayed grounded in my faith while I was at West Point. As we all know, there's some challenging days there. There's days you feel like you're not going to make it. You don't know what to do. You're confused. You're tired. You got exams, all kind of stuff. And she really helped me to always remember that God is watching us and He's there to support us as long as we go to Him and we ask for the help. He will get us through whatever struggle we may be going through. And that's something that has always stuck with me about Emily.
Tiffany?
While you were talking, at least I second all of that, but I was thinking about the eyes she would give me whenever she asked, "Are you going to church on Sunday?" And I'd be like, "I'm probably gonna sleep in today." And she'd go, "Okay." So like, it was never judgy, but it is what defined her, right? Like it was the defining characteristic, I think, of who she was, and um, uh, it just centered her, right? And it just emanated from her at all times. But I think one of her the biggest things that she stood for was, I just think the idea of like equity, right? And like, like people having a fighting chance. It bothered her when she felt like people didn't have a fighting chance. And she was always there to help. She wanted to be, she's brilliant, obviously academically, and she wanted to help people. And she invested so much of her time and so many of her evenings and so many of her weekends, making sure that that happened. I was definitely a recipient of, I mean, her brilliance and her ability to explain things to people and make sure that people had a fighting chance. And that is, yeah, that's just something that I'll always remember from her. She wanted people to succeed. And if there was any way that she could help facilitate that, she would make sure that she did it, even if it came at the detriment to her and her time.
Thanks, Tiffany. Yolanda.
I think I'll probably sound similar to Elise and Tiffany, but definitely her focus for helping others. Tiffany made me think of how I would see her after classes, and I would just be dawdling on AOL Instant Messenger, and she would say, "Hey, I'm going to go help this person in this class and go help these please." She'd just come back from a workout, and she would do all that. She'd be, running around helping this person, that person. And then she would come back and do her homework. And the thing that I'd been like distractedly, belatedly attempting, she would just do in like, 30 minutes, just focused. And, she lived her life with so much purpose. And that purpose was, again, to like really live her faith and be the embodiment of what she believed. Like she is a person that again lived her purpose, and that's what I'll always love so much about her, is just her focus on you know loving everyone like she loved the Lord. And whether you were just again kind of like a lazy middle of the road roommate, or these excellent people that I'm in the company in of, she loved you. And I can remember when I'd ask her for help, and she'd have break something down to me in 5 minutes that took me a whole week to try and figure out by myself. So that was probably my favorite thing about her.
Thank you guys again for being here and sharing all of these beautiful memories of Emily. And you might have thought that you got away, but you didn't. I'm bringing everybody on the screen now because Tracy brought up a story that she wanted y'all to tell, and I want to make sure that she's on screen when you tell it. So, track ladies, what is the story that you guys have to tell us?
Well, once upon a time in North Carolina, we were on a track trip, and uh, Tracy was acting as, what I forgot what it's called, our grad assistant, I think, and
Graduate assistant.
graduate assistant. And the last thing that she said was, "Have fun. You know what I mean? I'm about to go do this. Don't burn down the hotel." And we were like, obviously, of course, we won't do that. So we went forward and burned down the hotel, and we did that by buying food and deciding that we were gonna, I believe, fry chicken or
Too
something.
much. Yeah.
But
Epic fail.
epic fail. Me and Elise in the kitchen. That's not. We're good at a lot of things. It's probably not it.
Yeah.
And we decided to put the chicken in, and Emily was there too. She's not a chef herself. So we decided to put the chicken in. We decided to cover the chicken as it was frying in hot grease with the lid to fry faster. It blew it off. And there was a complete explosion, burned down the whole side of the wall. Emily was running around throwing flour on it. I was just screaming in the corner. Elise was like, I'm gonna tell on all of y'all because I had
Always me. I'm telling. I was going to get help. I was going to get help.
she was going to get help. And all Tracy could do was try to come up with a really, really great excuse as to why these three cadets did exactly what she told them not to do.
Literally. We
Literally.
thought we were so grown up. We did not pass the grown up test. And I swear, honestly, to this day, I do not fry chicken. I do not fry chicken. Scar for life.
Oh my goodness. So Tracy, what was your memory of this? What happened when you got the phone call that there was a fire?
So I didn't get a phone call. I actually was coming back. I decided to take 2 hours off and go to the beach, and so just so that I could recenter and get a Zen moment in. And literally, as I was pulling up, I see sirens, I see fire trucks, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, they burnt the hotel down!" And so I just went right into, "Okay, y'all, what's the story? How are we gonna message this?" So that we can minimize any trouble that y'all get into. So I think I went right into like big sister mode to fix it. And we did what we needed to do, but then in private, we had some real serious conversations. But it was, it's all good. It was one of those things that we said years from now we'll laugh at, and I guess we
Literally.
just now
Literally.
moment.
Yeah, and I want you guys to know that I was visiting with Mom Perez a couple weeks ago, and she definitely told me this story. so, so there are plenty of people that are laughing at y'all about this situation. It is a memory that has lasted, and I think will continue to last. Oh, as we wrap up, I wanted to bring that story in, because we remember the good things about Emily, and as time goes on, we want to remember the human moments too, like the full human that Emily was, as well as the legacy that she is leaving and the way that she's impacted our lives. And um there's two things that I want to do before we end. One, I want everybody to think of one word that comes to mind when you think of Emily, and then we'll take 1 minute to just take some deep breaths and kind of release the heaviness and bring in some joy. So I think we should do that first. I think let's take a couple of deep breaths and release the heaviness and bring in the joy, and we'll end with one word that comes to your mind when you think of Emily. So breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. One more time. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, let's start with Tracy. What's one word that comes to mind when you think of Emily?
Excellence,
You stole my word. I'm gonna
definitely
think of something
excellence.
else.
Everything
Okay.
that. Mhm.
Betty.
I would say fire, like as in like the intensity of it. Like when she did anything, it was with fire, it was with zest. So fire.
Yolanda.
Um, a thing I think about her is that she was a kind of a romantic at heart.
Tiffany.
She did love those trashy romance novels for sure. She made me read a couple of them. Um, I would just say friend. Friend.
Mhm.
Elise.
Stay thoughtful.
Kathy.
I would say light. The light that she brought to the room, and then also just being kind of a guiding light and a beacon for people.
Mm. And the word that I think about is driven. Oh, thank you guys again for being here. I appreciate you guys so, so much. It is one of the driving forces for the Emily JT Perez Foundation that we keep Emily's legacy alive. And part of that is telling her story. And we definitely want to hear more from people who knew her so that her person, her fullness can stay in the world for as long as people can tell a story. Oh, so thank you again.
Thank you.
To
Thank you.
Thank you,
bye
Tasha, for leading
guys.
us. This was wonderful. Thank you,
Thank
ladies.
To everyone watching, we invite you to be a part of a special series that we're launching in Emily's honor. It's called Dear Emily. We'd love for you to share your memories, your stories, or even a message about how Emily has touched your life. You can participate by posting on social media using the hashtag Dear Emily. Emily taught us that love, kindness, and passion for life are what truly make an impact. Let's honor her by carrying those values forward. Tracy, do you have any last words before we close out?
I just want to thank everyone, especially our guests, both Tiffany and Yolanda and Elise. This was not easy, and that isn't lost on me what it took for you all to show up and make this happen. And so I just want to acknowledge and to thank you all for coming. And as Tasha said, just adding another dimension to who Emily is. And so thank you as you all help us to ensure that from generations to come, people remember Emily. And thank you, Tasha, for this platform. And of course, to the staff of the Emily JT Perez Foundation. Everyone have a blessed and wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight. This has been The Way Wednesday, hosted by the Emily JT Perez Foundation.